Hello, and welcome to another episode of In My Experience with yours truly, Christine DeGinto. This podcast is a space where I speak from lived experience. The moments that shaped me, challenged me, and changed the way that I understand myself in the world. The awakenings, the breakdowns, the moments that cracked me open, asked me to stay present, be embodied, and be honest with myself. I share my stories not to persuade or define truth for anyone else, but to offer perspective, to explore the gray areas we don't often have language for, to slow things down and listen more closely to what's happening beneath the surface. You'll hear solo episodes where I reflect on my own initiations, spiritual gifts, and the systems that tried to define me. And conversations with guests who have walked strange, beautiful, and sometimes painful paths of their own and come back with wisdom to share with us. I invite you to take what resonates, leave the rest, and trust your own experience as valid. Thank you for being here. This is In My Experience. Welcome back to In My Experience. I'm Christine DeGinto. Today, I'm sitting down with Jaqueline Wright. We recorded this conversation back in February, early February. Jaqueline is someone that I met a few years ago through the Akashic Holographic Mastery container with Amy Belair. We also were in that container with Aaron French, my first guest on the show. Our conversation starts the way that a lot of real ones do. We just drop in and start catching up. We talk about what has been unfolding in our lives lately, motherhood, homeschooling, navigating the court system, and what it looks like to actually reclaim my power after feeling powerless for a very long time. She talks a little bit about her journey and new life, having a horse, which was a lifelong dream of hers. Shout out to her horse, Beads. Her full name is Bright Shiny Beads, so I just wanted to share that with you. From there, we move into Jaqueline's journey, her awakening, her connection with the Akashic Records, and what it means to hold space for someone outside of ego and inside of something much deeper. We also get into intuition, how we often override it, and how social conditioning pulls us away from it. What it looks like to come back to trusting ourselves, even in small everyday moments. Toward the end, we open up into a bigger conversation around religion, direct connection to God, and the ways that organized systems can distort something that was never actually meant to be controlled. This one flows, it's honest, it's layered, and it doesn't try to force anything into a neat conclusion, as usual. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Let's get into it. So I just recently started homeschooling my daughter.
It's
been about a month so far. We really like it. It came suddenly. I've wanted to do it for years, but with everything going on in my life, I could not support it. But now, I'm in my own space, and she had some truancy issues, not wanting to go to school last year and this year. And it's just so much stress. I never even wanted her to go there, and do that every day. But I had to keep her in that, I didn't have a choice. And then I was like, hey, wait, I do have a choice, and I'm going to just do it. And
That makes me so happy for you guys. You guys have been through so much, and to be able to spend your days together healing, who cares about the school? You guys being able to be together, that makes my heart so happy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been really great. And I feel like there are so many learning opportunities that when she was in school, when she would get home, she's tired, and it kind of contributed to an atmosphere where I'm my kid's servant, because it's well, they were at school all day, give them a break, this, that, and our whole lives are around so much time in the week, and we're not together. And I would pick her up after school. And I'd be like so happy to pick her up. And I'm like, I miss you all day. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, why? Why am I why am I doing this when I could do it differently? And yeah, so I'm glad that I was just like, phew, just like
Yeah.
she popped off and did it. But my ex was not happy and he tried to block that, but was unsuccessful. I also had a trip planned to Puerto Rico to learn it in a workshop how to build cob because I feel like that would be a resourceful way to build a home for my future, just financially and how I want to live and blah, blah. So I thought that would be cool. I enrolled in this workshop that was like a month long, and I planned on Grace staying home with my son and his girlfriend. They're 19. She works with kids, she's in school all day. So it's pretty much like take her to school, pick her up, blah, blah. But then with her homeschooling, how that just popped out of nowhere, I was like, well, I'll get her quickly enrolled in homeschool and then she can come with me to this workshop. And that is learning too.
Hmm.
But her dad did not want us to do that. So he took us to court and we were not able to go. So I had to cancel my trip. I was really sad, but I know it'll come. They'll have another workshop and I'll do it again somewhere else and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a bummer, but you never know like what the universe was protecting you from on any end of that. So you just
Yeah.
have to trust that it'll come in the right time. But it still is such a bummer that when stuff like that falls through or you feel like someone's blatantly blocking you from pursuing the life you want. But
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting because the judge having it only be like less than an hour's worth of, discussion between both sides. Like she doesn't know anything about anything. It's difficult for a
Mhm.
judge to make those calls in an emergency situation that he made it that level. And it actually kind of backfired on him because now I have primary custody, and the order said that if I stayed in Pennsylvania and I did not go to Puerto Rico, that I would be allowed to have her in homeschool and I would get primary custody. So all I had to do was cancel my trip. So in a way, because
Yeah.
it was done this way, it wasn't like filing for custody and going through the lawyers and doing all this stuff. It took so much less time, and the outcome was like the opposite. So, like you said, yeah,
Yeah, and I love that you had the opportunity, like in so much of your journey, you've been powerless, and you have in his egoic mind, I don't know, I'm just assuming he probably was like, she won't cancel her trip, like she wants to go too bad, she wouldn't do that. Not really underestimating a mother's love for her child, and
yeah,
then for you to have like the ability to say, I don't care about my trip. I want my daughter. That's
yeah.
and to take your power back. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like that was what the judge was offering also. It's like,
Mhm.
what matters? Like if this really matters to her, then she'll cancel the trip. Duh. I'll plan
Yeah.
another trip. I have a travel credit through the airline, and I asked the workshop if I could use that tuition that I paid toward another workshop when they hold the next one, and they said yes. So it's fine.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, like
totally.
it's fine. Not worried about it. But
Good.
yeah, thank you for acknowledging that I was like powerless in a lot of ways for such a long time. And that is one thing that was constantly underestimated was my perseverance, my like commitment. And I'm just like, it's easy for me, but it's also like not. It's easy to make those choices. They're very clear, but at the same time, after such a long time of like just getting piled on, I slowed down quite a bit. Like this past year, I haven't been working for anyone else. I've only been doing my stuff. And I'm
Mhm.
not like online all the time or anything. I'm not, I don't have a bunch of business. I haven't been booking stuff because my life is chaos. Like, and I feel like it's perfect timing. I get readings booked when I have availability. It works how it works. And I feel like I've really needed time to like decompress and take care of myself in ways like that I couldn't always do, like salt baths, energetic cleansing, and different things like that. That it takes time, self-care stuff. So
Yeah.
I've needed that like nurturing, and I've gotten that this past year. So I'm very thankful for that. And the tide has turned. Like, so yeah, I feel good about it. Yeah, finally.
Good. Good. That makes me
Thank you.
so happy.
Thank you. How is your horse?
She's great. She's been quite the whirlwind for me. I don't know if you remember, she had like the craziest skin condition last spring.
Oh, no, I missed that somehow.
Um, yeah, I don't even she so I wanted a horse my whole life, and I was told no and like cost, but also just like they're dangerous. And so I feel like this buying a horse was come overcoming so much fear. And then
Hmm.
I feel like the resistance of I'm confident when in the saddle, but mentally preparing to get into the saddle, I'm terrified. And well, I'm getting much better, but like for the so the I've had her over a year now, but for the first year, getting out the saddle was intimidating, and then I'm sure she could read my fear, but also the resistance that was coming up was like every time I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ride today, I'd get there and she'd be like lame. She'd be limping around. And that
Oh,
it just and then the next I'm getting more confident. She's healed. I'm gonna start writing. And then she had this insane blowout. I think it was like an autoimmune attack. No vet could explain it. Her skin was just like eating itself and growing.
oh no.
And I did everything, like every antifungal, antiviral, ever I was
Oh
giving her
my
jab.
gosh. I'm
But
getting that she was processing your stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, well, here's the other part
Yeah.
of her story. So I know that it's like a soul connection, me and her.
Yeah.
So the other part of her story is so she was bought off a kill truck 11 years before me getting her, maybe 12. And then her owner at the end of had her for 10 years and then something happened and she couldn't afford to feed her anymore. And I don't know how much time she owned her without being able to feed her, but she was very skinny when my friend got her. She gave her to my friend and she was super skinny. And at my friend's place, she had lived in a pasture with her best friend horse her past 11 years. And then she gets moved to a barn that she doesn't recognize. She's in a stall. She has no room to move, which she's used to being able to do. And then I bought her and I moved her to a pasture. And she was there for about three, 3 months before this skin thing broke out. And you know how, even as humans, like when we're in a high stress situation, our bodies work and function because we have to get through it. But the
Uh-huh.
minute we're safe, our bodies either
Yes.
need like 1,000 billion hours of sleep or they get
Like
really
I was
sick.
just saying, I needed this whole year to catch
Yeah.
up from the past. Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
Or they get sick or like a chronic pain or skin eczema in as little as eczema, like anything. I think
Yeah.
that's what happened. I think she finally felt safe. She was finally being fed more than enough. And then yeah.
Yeah.
So then we got it
Yeah.
under control and now she's perfectly healthy. We're
Good.
comfortable with each other.
Good.
Yeah, it's great.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that. My daughter loves horses
I
and
know
I
you
love
said that.
horses. I have a my shamanic drum behind me is horse hide. And I don't mean that to say I trust that it was ethically sourced.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was not cheap. It's a shamanic drum. I trust that it was
Andrew,
ethical.
yeah.
It's from Oregon. I almost guarantee it. But I have ridden horses with her. I love horses, but I wouldn't say that I was like a horse girl like growing up. I didn't desire to have a horse or ride a horse, probably because of, like you said, it's expensive, it's dangerous, blah. But it's not. It's funny how you see things, how you're told things, and then you're like, oh, that's the way it is. But like that's just simply not true. It's just a perception. So,
Totally.
she loves to ride horses, and there's a few local places around here. I enrolled her in a camp last year for a couple of weeks and she enjoyed it, but then she didn't. I think when it got a little bit harder, she was like, I don't know if I want to do this every day. I'm like, but if you had a horse, you would have to do it every day. Like you can't be like, I don't feel like it today. Like, no, they need like a constant care, like,
Yes.
basically on par with a human. Like you have to interact with them, you have to brush them, you have to feed them, you have to you let them out, run around, all the things. And yeah, but riding horses is fun. A very interesting thing that I have noticed is like when we go on this trail with this group that has horses and we're simply riding them. They teach us the basics first, and then we just go on a trail. Um, you have to keep your head up. You can't be looking down because they can sense every little shift of your body. They can sense what you're seeing. They can feel you. All of the very clear extrasensory perception that they have.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. My daughter has a book and it's called Listenology for kids. Is that what it's called? Listenology, learning how to work with horses. That's what the book is about. And I'm like, wow, is that an actual term? Listenology? Is that what you call understanding how to work with a horse?
I've
Perhaps.
never heard that, but that's not to say that it's not. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up after this.
Yeah, I don't know because this is not my realm, but like that's what it's called, and I think that that makes a lot of sense. And in the book, and I haven't read into it very much, like neither has she, but it's very clear about how they are intuitive. You must respect energetically, like you need to be in a calm space to expect them to be in a calm space, and it's like it's so fascinating to me how we still have to deal with people who don't see things on that level, don't understand the level of
It's
perception
actually
that animals have. And
yeah, it's heartbreaking in the horse world because I've come across a lot now that it's within my perception and like my algorithm, gentle parenting your horse, but they're not to be like to the term to break a horse is heartbreaking. And
right.
that's the standard. Like I have to hold my own so much when I'm at the barn of how I want to be with my horse, which is
Hmm.
calm and patient and kind
Yeah.
and not putting her into submission, basically, or
Hmm.
punishing her with movement. Like, not any of that is just the standard in the horse world, and you actually get like hardcore judged if you're not doing it that way. At least where I'm
Yeah.
at in Idaho, I've
Yeah.
found wonderful, wonderful teachers online who I follow to help me understand how to work with her the best I can and still get progress.
Yeah.
Because it's a respect from both parties thing.
Exactly. There is a line of respect and there are boundaries that have to be clear, but it's interesting on one of and now this is not to say anything negative about the group that I was riding horses with. I've gone there several times. I love it. This was one particular guide that we had and we got to this crossing. It's through the woods, and we get to this crossing of a stream. And typically, they let the horses drink. And I already knew because I already rode this horse before, Gatlin, old boy. Anyway, I rode him twice before, so I already know. And he had, they had the reins tied up for to keep them up, but to drink you have to release the rope. And I knew that, and I could feel that he wanted to drink and he was trying to get his head down to drink. And I was going to do it and the woman was like, "Not yet. We can't just let them have control of whatever." And I was like, "Oh, I mean, like, how can you say no?" And she's like, "I can." And I was like, "To water? You can just say no to water? That's
Mhm.
cool." Like, I was kind of, and then from then on on the ride, I was just kind of an asshole because I didn't respect her. I didn't agree with her and I didn't respect her. And I was like, wow, you really want to play power games with an animal?
Yeah, for
You're an
sure.
idiot. Like that's just
Yeah, totally.
my
And yeah, it's like that's one of those things where we're taught not to trust our intuition. And like, we know that if we let the horse get water, we're not letting the horse walk all over us. If I
Mm,
want to like let my horse graze on the
yeah,
ground while I'm on her, that's okay. That doesn't mean she's the boss of me all of a sudden. That means I'm
yeah.
being kind and compassionate. And I intuitively know that, but I even get like, so I went for a trail ride recently with a bunch of girls. Some I knew, some I didn't know so well. But like my horse was grazing and I caught myself pulling her up because
Mhm.
I know that horse people think
Oh, you
that's
let your
bad.
horse just snack?
And yeah, I
Yeah,
caught
just like I
myself
would
doing
my
that.
kids.
And
I would,
luckily yeah,
and myself.
exactly. Luckily my good friend was like, you can let her graze. And I was like, thank you for reminding me. Like, I know that. I know I can let her graze. It's just, yeah, again, our intuition. I constantly have to remind myself, I can feel what she needs. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna honor that. And
Hmm.
I'm not gonna let like the social standards of how I do this override the my feeling of how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing I understand because they have a business. They need to keep things like on time, I guess, but they're real big on like, don't let them start eating stuff.
And
And I'm
and
like,
their argument would probably be that it's dangerous for them to, but again, that's just, is it? Are they if they're in a, are they going to put you in danger trying to get water, or is that just your assumption? You know?
yeah, I feel weird about it. It's like stuff that they love to eat and it's through the woods and there's like certain patches of stuff and they're like, okay, we're coming up on this patch. They're going to try to graze. Don't let them. And it's like, but why? Whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a loosey goosey. So I would rather have people be happy and comfortable than have rules and regulations 100% of the time.
Well,
So
people just take life way too seriously, and
yeah,
once you wake up and realize it's not serious, then you get loosey.
yeah, a little loosey goosey. I've been looser. Uh, but I think when we were talking about doing this recording, and I still haven't even actually introduced you yet. And I always do this. The last, I just recorded another episode a little bit earlier, and I actually introduced him at the very end. I was like, since I'm an idiot and I never introduced you,
I think that's totally fine.
I'm gonna let this one ride and just formally introduce you now. This is Jacqueline. We met in a couple like 3 years ago in class with Amy Belair and also Erin French, who has already been on the show. So this is the container that we were coming from in the Akashic Holographic Mastery, and we've kept in touch over the years. Not so much the past year. We've both had so much going on, but so happy to talk with you again. And thank you so much for being here today. Will you please introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your work?
Yeah, so I'm Jacqueline, as she said, and yes, the holographic mastery class, that was probably, well, I always think my awakening started in like 2020, 2021, but really I read all the Eckhart Tolle books in 2012. So I had a lot of learning to do from 2012 to 2021 is when I feel I fully broke free from the matrix for a moment, and then I've been able to reach that moment more consistently since then.
I love how you word that. I love how you word that because you're not just awake and asleep. There
Mhm.
are many periods of time where we have to shift in and out. I so appreciate that. Just wanted to say.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Um, yeah, but that Akashic Mastery class is when I decided I had well, in 2017 my best friend died, and that's when I started seeing her and experiencing my psychic abilities really strongly for the first time. And then I decided to pay for Amy's class and just dive into it full head first.
Hmm.
And yeah, so since then, I'm an Records reader. My favorite thing in the world is just talking to people about their lives and
Hmm.
answering questions about their lives and helping them navigate it from the higher viewpoint, which I have practiced reaching through the records.
Yes.
And it's it's literally, it feels like God's work. It doesn't feel like me when I'm in a reading. It's
Hmm.
magical, and yeah, so that's who I am. I'm an Akashic Records reader, and I love just like spiritual consciousness, mindfulness in general as like my what's the word? Nuance, I guess, of my
Yeah.
readings.
Yes, I love that so much. And I've had the wonderful gift of knowing you and having you as a resource, a shared resource in several episodes with mentors and other people that I've worked with in classes. I always want to highlight the importance of having connections and resources for us to reflect on ourselves. Like I know I've asked you for guidance a bunch of times because I'll ask myself for myself all day and get information, but I feel a little bit crazy. So it's like I want to bounce this off of you. What do you get? And then you do your thing and then we kind of reconcile together. And I just so appreciate that. And I think it is a sorely overlooked resource that I feel like people don't understand what like the Akashic Records readings could be for them. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people don't, um, they can't conceptualize what it is. Have you found
Yeah,
that they're sort of like,
totally.
well, what is this? You know?
Yes. And especially with people like in my immediate life, it seems like they what they conceive it to be is this very out of this world psychic guessing game or something. Kind of like going to see a medium and trying to contact a deceased loved one. That's like more what it's perceived of, or trying to tell the future. And
Hmm.
that's just not what it is for me at
Hmm.
all. It's
Yeah.
it's it's talking to someone who has honed in the ability. We all have the ability. I've
Hmm.
just very practiced and honed in the ability to channel information from a higher dimension, um, a higher resource. Like it's people understand the value of therapy, but when I
Yes.
look at therapy, it's like, okay, you're talking to someone and they are helping you from books they've read and from their ego. When
Yeah.
you go to an Akashic Records reading, you're getting therapy, but you're not getting it from someone's ego or biasness or books that they read in college. You're getting it from the field of like all the knowledge that there ever was and is and will be. And
Yeah.
and then also my other big thing is to provide, like you said, having the resource of having each other to talk. Yeah, I can go in the records for myself, but the power of someone holding space for me and
Hmm.
validating me and just letting me process things out loud through my throat chakra.
Hmm.
Oh, like it
Yes.
gives me the chills just thinking about it because it's so healing and transformative to
Yeah.
be able to do that. And to be able to do that with my hope is if someone's out there advertising Akashic Records readings, they've done the work to be able to hold space in the frequency of love. And that is
Mm.
the most magical, wonderful, healing, transformative space there is.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I have a therapist. She's great. I mean, it doesn't compare to the spiritual work, the different readings that I've gotten from people, the work that I've done on my own through meditation and channeling the Akasha myself. It's a it's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the whole thing. And like you said, it's analyzation through a framework that was created by the mind of man. So
Mhm.
it's very limited compared to the collective consciousness,
Totally.
all time,
And
all souls. Like, I don't,
yeah, and I'm not undermining therapists. Like there's
yeah.
stepping stones, there's
It's a different,
levels.
yeah, yeah,
There's they absolutely are helping people who can't even perceive of the idea that there is an Akashic Records.
yes. I mean,
The
like, I talk with my therapist more about like 3D stuff and
totally.
like for my specific purpose, just to have like validation from a medical professional, from a psychological standpoint of like what I have endured, you know?
Mhm.
Just it's more so like a professional could speak up and say this, that, and the other thing. That's why I go to a therapist. Other than that,
And
I
yeah,
wouldn't. That's like, but I have a certain kind of circumstance where I feel like I need an advocate, you know.
yeah.
But that's
Probably
different for everyone.
I think that there's probably so many therapists, licensed therapists out there who can hold the space of love.
Yeah.
So that I'm not saying only Akashic Records readers can do that. If you find a good therapist, like heck yeah, they can do that for you too.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's great because she hears me out on all this stuff. I've been talking with her about, oh boy, I don't know if I even want to get into it, but it's essentially like stuff that's coming out now in the news about the Epstein files and child, not just child trafficking for sex, but like the sacrifices and all the things. And all, I talk with her about holding knowledge that that exists and how it's difficult for me to function in normal life while also recognizing that this is part of reality and how I see it very clearly through different things. And um, so that's like why why I go. But it's interesting that while I'm doing this now, all that's coming out. So it's like, look, I'm not making this up. Like,
Yeah.
I have felt in the past a little bit crazy about the things that I have come into realization that exist, but like that's not, I'm not incorrect, I would say. It's just that like oftentimes crazy is being right too soon, right? That you've heard that expression, I'm
Yeah,
sure. So
and I feel
it's
like that's so valid in your case. You have such a powerful um eye for seeing that type of stuff, and you have no um you're confident and have courage in sharing it, and that's painted the perception of crazy to people who have no context.
yeah,
But now to be validated and like now millions of people are seeing like, oh shit.
yeah.
Oh shit.
That's
Like,
a real reality. Yeah. And it always has been. Yeah. And we were talking before about when we were going to get together and record this. A lot has been coming up. I've seen you posting a lot lately about religion and finding God for ourselves instead of organized religion and some of the things that maybe don't reconcile and along the lines of sacrifice and um commitment and energy uh, going toward an organized cause that is actually like not aligned with our true intentions as individuals.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
I started down this. I've always had like some of my first really crazy meditations where I was seeing for the first time and realizing like just how much we see from within. Um, Jesus was coming to me and helping me and showing me that he's held my hands through some of the hardest times in my life. He was there, showing me he was there and like going back into those memories with such vivid detail, him showing me he was there with me. So I have such I like I would call Jesus one of my main spirit guides, and that would just like
direct,
blow
direct
up
connection,
people.
direct connection.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, don't. If they don't, what? Don't worry about other people. I
yeah.
would say
Well,
the
so
same. I agree. I totally agree. I hear you, girl.
yeah,
Yeah,
well
he is.
the like way that they I don't know. I've realized that there's this massive amount of people who think they're following God and think they're doing everything the way they're supposed to doing, but what they're actually doing is holding our planet in a very dense place. It's
Hmm.
not actually helping us at all, and it's actually holding the frequency more in the duality.
Hmm.
And I've just recently decided I'm going to talk about it. And what I realized when I started talking about it is it's way worse than I could ever even imagine.
Yes. And that means you cannot stop talking about it. And then when you feel that pressure pushing up against you for talking about what you feel and see and sense in regard to our direct connection with spirit and how God, the Christ codes and consciousness live in us and always have. Like we are the same. We have
Yeah,
these capabilities. We just need to reawaken, reconnect. And I personally, I agree with you. I've never connected with organized religion from a young age, childhood. I'm like, none of this makes sense. I don't understand. It doesn't click. I don't want it.
Literally doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. And I always kind of knew that, but I've never had the backing to be able to explain why it doesn't make sense. My mom was raised Catholic, and like the Trinity, the two things she would say, like, you believe in God if you believe in like God, Christ, and the Holy Spirit are one. And like Jesus died for our sins. Those are the two, and those never made sense to me. And like in my head, it was just like, why would Jesus be the only son of God on the whole planet in all of time? That makes zero sense. I can't explain it, but it makes zero sense. And then as I am like waking up and actually researching, I found Aaron Abke, who I absolutely adore. He's magnificent in the way he explains things. And he was a Christian. He's, I think, a third generation Christian pastor who left the religion. But hearing him explain it, now I'm not great yet, but now I'm starting to be able to like back up why I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And now I
Yeah.
have some details why it doesn't make sense.
Yes, I wouldn't be the person to argue with about Bible verses. I couldn't tell you at all.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a Bible because it was given to me by my grandmother, and that's why I have it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to throw away a Bible that my grandma gave me.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't disrespect the word of God,
And
but
there's gold within it. There's so much gold within it.
yes,
But
yes. I mean, I just don't feel called to it because to be honest with you, in my reflection, in my journeys, past life regressions and different exploration of my soul as a priestess, I remember having a code in my throat chakra that was automatically transmitted through frequency. Like I didn't even actually have to speak. It just sits in my throat chakra
mhm,
that reminds us all that we all have the Christ codes and consciousness within us and that there should be no control. It was at the time there were always sort of temples, but it wasn't always closed off and special and secluded and
yeah.
gate kept. And then the priests started limiting the information. I remember doing a session with you. Actually, it's coming to mind again. I don't want to like blow up your stuff, but we were talking about
Fine.
a relationship with your husband, and in a past life you guys were also together and you were a priestess and he was a priest and he limited some of that information. He didn't do it.
Hmm.
People above him did it, but he was aware of it and he was still holding that. And I was like, I think you need to loosen that information up from his field because it's actually yours. And I remember that. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's similar to that, where the disconnection between the masculine and feminine came for control. And it came from the organized religion. It came from basically archons twisting the perceptions, the thoughts, the actions of the people in power who wanted power because nobody was in power. It was all of us. And then all suddenly it was turning more and more into a singularity. And yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. So the Roman Empire, this, what I'm about to say is like trying to say what Aaron Abke has said, but the Roman Empire adopted Christianity. So, and then he says, when an empire adopts a religion, the empire never becomes like the religion. The religion becomes like the empire. So the Romans did not, since like way before Christ, Egyptians honored women. There was women goddesses like Cleopatra. The whole thing with Julius Caesar and Cleopatra and the Romans hating that she had so much power. Like they did not want women to have power. And so them adopting Christianity, they had to rewrite the story of I just read a whole book about Mary Magdalene, and it's it's freaking mind-blowing. The whole like she was most likely Jesus's wife, and they loved each other, and she was the divine feminine of his divine masculine. They were the
Mm-hmm.
they were the pair, and they were teaching together. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were doing that together, and she actually held his most precious teachings from within.
And
And
I've heard also that she financed his like travels. Like they would not have been able, the disciples would not have been able to travel their mission without her financing of that. And it's
wow.
interesting. I don't, like I said, I'm not a religious person. I don't have much religious knowledge, but I have heard that she was a whore.
Right.
Isn't
And
that
that's what they
interesting?
painted. So
Isn't
they
isn't
painted,
that interesting?
yeah.
Yeah.
And this didn't happen until I just read, I think 367 AD. I always get those confused. But that is when the canon they like came up with the idea that Mary was a virgin. That wasn't even a thing when Jesus was alive. It wasn't
Hmm.
even a thing. It happened way 300 years after he died.
Yeah.
That they decided Mary was a virgin and Mary Magdalene was a whore because they needed those. That's like tale as old as time when it comes to mythical stories. And
Defaming women and taking
mhm,
the credit, making them yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, so they make her perfect and her awful, and women can't be trusted. Like,
Yeah. Adam's apples. That's why we have Adam's apples, right? Because we ate the apple. We have the proof in our throats, right?
no,
Oh
men
no, that's
have.
men. I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, I thought you were serious. I was like, wait, what?
I'm just saying isn't it the stupidest thing ever? They literally have something called an Adam's apple that you can see in their throats and they blame us for eating it. I'm just
Yeah, that is interesting. I've literally never thought about that before. Huh.
weird. See,
Yeah.
these are the things when I was a kid would make me be like weird. I don't think that's right. Like I just don't believe it, period. Like because I just don't. And
Yeah.
maybe that's for a reason. I trust myself. I trust it because I think I'm supposed to be open to,
And that's the other thing that
receive.
religion has stolen from people. They've stolen their ability to trust themselves. They have made it. I was just thinking about like, so for forever, I kind of thought that, so I know God because I know God from within. I
Mhm,
know him.
mhm.
I don't believe in him. I know him. And
Oh
I,
my gosh, we got thumbs
oh
up.
yeah,
Did you see them? You didn't even do that, but it did that. That is so funny. All right,
that's
keep going.
hilarious.
I'm so sorry. It was
You're
like two
fine.
thumbs up.
That's
That's
hilarious. I
hilarious.
didn't see it. I was like, I'm thinking. Um, anyways, in my head, I was like, well, people in that I've talked to, people just don't understand because they've never felt it. But then I realized, no, they've absolutely felt God's love and they feel it, but they don't trust it. They think it's
They
evil.
just,
And
yeah,
they've been told that that feeling is evil. Do not trust it. That's Satan trying to trick you, which
yeah,
is so sad.
yeah, yeah.
And like shocking. It's shocking when you think about it.
And it's funny, some people may find my perspective, again, loosey-goosey or, not very careful, but I very much believe that there are demonic forces. I very much believe that Satan is real, God is real, angels are real, all the things are real, lots of stuff in between too. But I don't fear, I don't have fear of demonic entities. I don't fear uh lower astral stuff because I feel so very affirmed with the light aspects and how that feeling is in me. And like whenever I get sometimes things will come into my awareness. There may be things around me. It doesn't mean they're like in me or ever could come near me because the first person I call is Jesus.
Hmm.
Me as a completely non-religious person, Jesus is my homeboy. I totally understand what you're saying. Like it's like that he's my number one guy I call. Number two, Hecate. Number three, like
Yeah.
it depends on the situation. I call different people, but he's always number one, and that comes very quickly and easily, and I feel no fear, and I can feel it in my chest. I feel myself pushing energy away when I invoke that
Yes,
name.
and that's because you're not under the illusion. The only reason that Satan or demonic energies have any power whatsoever is because they're under the illusion that Satan is just as powerful as God, which
Yeah,
is
it's fear. It's the
ontologically
fear.
not possible.
Yeah.
So, yes, we can be scared and we can feel those, but the minute we call on Christ or the Lord's light, it's no competition. Like
Yeah.
you can't, Satan immediately has no power.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
and
truly believe
the
that.
only thing that makes him real is our fear in believing he's that it's real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I have recognized with my very fast awakening almost 5 years ago. There were a lot of darker energies around me because I was a newly awakened light and I wasn't aware of how to navigate or manage things.
And you see them clearly because that's part of your gift. So like I think like I didn't experience that in my awakening because that's not part one of my dharmic responsibilities here, and that is for you. You
Hmm.
know what
Hmm. But I mean, even throughout that time, it's interesting. I was thinking about this earlier today, probably because it was going to come up right now, but I remember there was one time very clearly that I felt like an entity came and sat down right next to me. And I was sitting on my porch at the house that I was living in at the time, and I felt this shift. I just felt this shift come because I was talking in my own mind. I was alone a lot, and I had just had that awakening, and it was very clear to me there was a lot going on, and I kept trying to like ask questions, and I would receive information. It wasn't always what I wanted to hear, though. Sometimes it was like not good. Like something was trying to say, "Oh yeah, we can just get new bodies. Like we can just pop into bodies and we do it all the time and it's totally fine." Like they were trying to make me think that things were okay. And I'm like, oh
I mean?
no, that's not okay with me. That's not okay with me. You can't do that to other people. Like I'm not on that
Yeah.
tip. Like, so I guess like just lots of stuff was coming to me and I had to discern one by one, like what I wanted around me. And I remember saying, like, I'm not afraid of you. You could come be in my face right now. You'll never get me because I can tell and I can feel in myself like what is right and what is wrong. And I have that, and that is God. Like that is love, and I trust it, and I'm never going to ignore myself again. And this thing came, and I swear the air shifted, everything shifted, and I felt this thing like sit down next to me, and I was like, actually I am a little bit scared. Actually, get the fuck away from me. Yeah, I was a little bit nervous, like I was trying to, like I wasn't trying to, I was trying to affirm in myself, I have no fear of you. I know how weak you are because I
Mm.
saw a lot of stuff all at once. And I was just like, oh, the only power they have over us is the fear that they cause within us. And that sensation, that feeling, that vibration allows them to dig further into the lower vibrational aspects of our minds, thoughts, emotions. And that's how they get us. But if you hold in your heart that steady knowing of love and controlling yourself, like you 100% untouchable.
Yeah. Yeah. And it says like God's law, God is written on our hearts, and that's so that we had the ability to discern. So really the mission is just to hone in that ability of trusting that you have the ability to discern. I can't
Mhm.
tell you how many readings, every reading is at least at one point someone's telling me what they know and and the way it is and what they know, and then asking me if it's a different way. Like their mind, I'm like, you just told me you know. You just told me you know. Why did you just flip that and now you don't know if you know? Like if I just repeated back to you the exact same sentences, you already know the answer to that. And then just helping them like trust you know, you know, you know, you know, you know. You know.
Yeah.
You already
Yeah.
knew. You don't need me for that.
Hmm.
And
It
and
can be scary sometimes. Like personally, I was seeking help from a lot of spiritual mentors at the beginning because I was like, what is happening? Like I trusted myself. Like I said, I really felt like somebody came and sat down with me and was like, going kind of toe to toe with me. And it's like, here's your chance. Like, are you afraid? You know what I mean? And I was like, no, I'm not afraid, but like, I don't want this.
yeah.
Um, it was uh that opportunity, but I sort of just like lost where I was going with that. But
I think like trusting yourself, and
yeah.
it's hard to trust yourself in those.
So when I went to other people, I really just wanted them to affirm for me and
Yeah.
tell me what the deal was. Cause I was like, I must be crazy and this can't possibly be true. But the scariest thing they said to me was, yes, everything is true. And you are very intuitive and you don't even need to come to me. Like you have 14 very powerful beings with you, some of them angels, some of them ancestors, some, and it's like, that scared the shit out of me. Like, hearing, oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're good. You're fine. I'm like, oh, actually, like, I was hoping that you were going to tell me I'm crazy,
Yeah.
but,
Totally. That's
uh,
funny. Yeah.
but we
It's
need that. Everyone needs that. We need to be reinforced in our own intuition, our own, and trusting ourselves. I did that to myself because I was gaslit for such a long time. I didn't want to be right because it's not. I mean, it was along the lines of what we're finding out now, like the elites and how they deal in sacrificing babies and trafficking children for all kinds of purposes. It was that kind of information, is what I was seeing about the world. And I was like, I don't want that to be true. But
Yeah, and of course that's terrifying. I think anytime you open your perception, I mean, it's the same as like that's a pretty high level awakening, I would refer to it as, but even just small awakenings, like even just asking Christians to just ask questions. Just ask a couple questions. You don't have to change your beliefs, but just ask questions and like feel out a little more information. And that because of the container that they are in feels safe to take down those walls and let in new perceptions feels very unsafe. It's like their tight little safe container is no longer there. And then when you do have more perceptions, you are seeing those visions, you are having new beliefs fill in and seeing like, oh, things are shaky, things aren't what they seem, then your energy has to adjust to that new frequency. I think every time you think bigger and every time you take away some limiting beliefs, your energy rises, like you're ascending, and
yes,
your vibration is the vibration of your cells, your being is literally higher, and there's an adjustment period to that. And and then there's a massive release of fear. And then you're met with the resistance of, are you sure you want to make this change? Like it's so much work, and it's like says, it's the narrow way. It's
hmm
it's not meant to be easy, but it is
hmm
very simple to those of us
yes,
who really, really understand it.
yes. They say too, something just popped in my head. It's like the road to heaven feels like hell. The road to hell feels like heaven.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, sometimes it's obviously not true, but sometimes when I'm tired or overwhelmed, it's like, man, drinking must way easier. Like I could just have a glass of wine right now. I'd probably feel a lot better, but no, that's not truth. That's
Yeah.
that's a cop out. That's not the person I want to be. That's not how I want to live.
Yeah. And good for you for taking the beat that it takes to think another second about thoughts like that. Because I feel like a lot of times people underestimate, the general public underestimates the influence of entities around us. They're everywhere. They're
Hmm.
not to be feared. They have no power. They would not exist without you. Don't give them power. When you get these thoughts, most of the time, I feel like it's not even us. Sometimes, but I feel like a lot of those thoughts along those lines, especially people who have addiction, it's like that is someone who it's either a human who was alive before and was not able to cross over that is still existing here and even in an unconscious way attaching to you and wanting to fulfill their own desires through your body.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you have to just think for a second, is this really what me ask wanting this asking this? And I'm not
Totally.
saying that, that's also a scary way to live, like every thought you get that's a little bit off
Well, it's just
human,
it's just telling
that's not
people.
what I mean.
Yeah, I think you're just saying like be more mindful. Like
Yeah.
just be more mindful. And that's the same thing even if it's not an entity and it is coming from the ego. Either way, you have to just the only way answer is to be more mindful. So
Yeah.
whatever story you want to believe, it actually doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Ultimately, it comes down to
Just
taking that time, really, really reflecting. Is this how I want to see my life? Yeah.
which takes a lot of mental effort. Like I've been going to it gets dark at like 7:30 and I've been going to my bed and my husband's like, "You're going to bed?" Like I'm exhausted from being mindful all day. I gotta go to I can't
It
be
is.
mindful anymore.
It's so funny you said that. It's hard to do. I was gonna say you need a lot of naps, and then you were like, you said that. Sometimes, some days, yeah, I need to lay down, have a nap, because it's like I've had to be neutral in some pretty extreme things today, and that took a lot out of me, like literally.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm thankful to have that time and space to be able to do that, by the way. But
yeah. So,
I used to just be like, I'm not tired and drink more coffee. Keep going.
yeah,
That's
that's
not
no good.
that's not good.
That'll send me straight into a spiral.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, what else is going on? You want like, could you give me some OG tips on homeschooling? Like,
Yeah, let's see. I love it so much. My biggest one is the reason you're homeschooling is because you don't want them in public school. Like remembering that your days do not have to be structured the way that a public school, that's not the point of doing it. And also knowing that some days are wonderful and perfect and some days suck. And on those days, you just go for a walk or go to the park and you don't try to do the school.
mhm,
And yeah, that's the biggest thing for me is remembering the kids are in ebb and flow states the same way we are. And
mhm.
if it's not working, there's a reason. And I've homeschooled so that I can embrace and trust that reason. And on those days, just take care of our souls and not worried about how much math they know.
Productivity. Yeah, totally. I hear you on that. That is like the biggest aspect. Personally, my daughter is a manifester in human design. So regarding that, I understand that she has very different cycles of energy and rest, and sometimes she's more productive than others. And I try to respect that, but it's just not possible within the public school system. You have to
Yeah.
get there at a certain time, you have to be there a certain number of days in the year. You can't take a vacation, blah, blah. 7+ hours in one room learning endlessly, and it's just like too much. It's not what I
Yeah.
want.
What
Yeah,
a
I'm
gift to be able to give her that. I too have a manifestor, and I haven't started school with him yet. He's 5. I'm scared. Scary. I was on a very 3D level. The Good and the Beautiful is a Christian-based thing, but they leave out all the crap that I don't believe in, and the teachings in it are magical. I love it. Me and my older son, are getting into the higher level books, and I'm dumbfounded at how much they're teaching manifestation. They're it it's beautiful. They're so good. And then the lessons are just like fun and they're written out for you. I don't have to take any mental energy to a do school with them. It's
yeah.
all right there laid out and it's aesthetically pleasing. There's games throughout it and my kids are smart. Like the way that they're doing it, they are retaining everything they're learning. My son who's almost through 3rd grade, he knows everything he learned in the 1st grade, 2nd grade. Like, I don't think that happens in public school. They don't
No,
remember a dang thing they've learned.
no, especially with summer break, because it's well, there's a difference between learning at your own pace and absorbing the information fully, not just understanding it, understanding it.
Yeah.
And then there's a rote memorization and just trying to get through and just being like forced to like,
Yeah.
If you get a bunch of information really quickly, it's kind of like our downloads, right? When we meditate, you get a download and you don't give it much thought or energy, you don't write anything down, you're going to lose that. You get a download, you have extra time, and you're like, I'm going to journal this. I'm going to, it
Mm.
gets deeper in, it gets more, so
Yeah.
yeah, it makes total sense. It's something that, like, not being pushed allows you the space to fully uh embrace the information that you're receiving instead of just like trying to cram it in your brain and then speak it out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I don't know. That's the other thing with my kids, like my middle kid, he is literally like convulsing, moving the entire time we're doing school. And I used to be like, want him to just sit still while I'm talking to him. And I realize now, like, he's got to be moving, like rocking back. He's like a totally normal, healthy human being. But that's how much
Yeah.
energy is coursing through his body when I'm asking him to sit still. And like I give them gum when they have to sit for longer like if the lesson's a little bit longer, I give them Play-Doh to play with while we're doing it. Like you can think outside the box in and help your kid be successful in such a wonderful way that in its classroom in school, a teacher with 20, 30 kids just simply can't do.
Yeah.
They can't do it
Yeah.
for each
Even
kid.
the best ones. And I mean no shade to like the teachers and the school system, the people in the system that are trying to like educate kids and care about kids. I'm not bashing them. But yeah, like you're saying, it's just not
It's not possible. They
ratio
don't have
wise,
that
not
much
possible.
attention to, yeah. And they
Yeah.
do, and yeah.
Yeah. And the past month or so, she would get on her lesson, take a little break, put on some music on the speaker, sing, dance around, run around the kitchen a couple times, and then, get back on the lesson. She couldn't do that in her classroom, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm glad to give her that space. And I'm a little bit sad that I couldn't have done that for my son, but different ages, different time periods, different needs.
Yeah.
So
You don't know what his karmic lessons were. You don't know, like he was on, he's everything's been done.
yeah,
The divine plan.
yeah.
Can't regret that type of stuff.
Thanks. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I sometimes forget, even though I know this.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Yeah.
Uh, what else is going on in your world? Have you taken any other classes lately or
I have I the last year that I had my horse, um I didn't do anything. I didn't listen to podcasts. I read some books, but I took a break. Like I just wanted to live life. I think it's there's this interesting like I'm sure you've been on the same ride, but you kind of like wake up and get spiritual and want to take in all the knowledge possible and then want to teach it. And then you hit this point where you're like, the whole point is to just be present and enjoy my life. And then you just do that. And I'm kind of like, now I've come full circle. I think I spent like 2 years not taking in any more spiritual information, didn't need it. I know how this works. I know how to be here now. I'm so
mm-hmm,
thankful. Um,
mm-hmm.
and but now I'm like coming back around and I have this new like thing that I'm very much being called to talk about, which is Christianity and the corruption and reminding people that God's loved us since the beginning of time and we have had these codes within us all along. And yeah, so now I'm coming back and I'm listening to a bunch of podcasts, reading a bunch of books. So no, haven't taken any courses. I haven't felt called to even any more at all. Like I haven't even had any come into my awareness.
Yeah,
I just started learning guitar. So
cool.
I've just been doing like, I just want to learn more
Live,
stuff and do
do
more
fun.
human stuff. And
Yeah. That's amazing. That's awesome. That is so good. I also haven't really been in classes. I think I used it mostly like years ago as a way, and it was so helpful, so rewarding to have structure, to
Mhm.
have an anchor point, and to be building on something. I also, just so much going on. But the past year, I've been just living, doing the same thing. I remember I was talking with Aaron a couple months ago, and he's like, "You haven't really been posting online." I was like, "Yeah, I like haven't even gone on my business Instagram in like months, I just didn't." But things go, they come and go, they go up and down, and they dip in and out. And that's what I love so much about podcasts and information that you're seeking, because it's always available, but you're not always available. When
Yeah,
you are available, that information will come to you. And then I just love, it's just like
yeah,
the Akashic Records. It's always there. You don't always need to go into it, but if whenever you want
yeah.
to, it's always there. And yeah,
I just remembered an Abraham Hicks. She says, I love knowing that I'm never in a rush and that I'll never finish.
yeah,
It's like it gives me the chills because there's no finish to the ebb and flow, and it's gonna continue to happen the rest of the time we're here. And if we can learn to ride that wave, like that's that's the secret.
yes, absolutely. So, like, something I also was seeing as you were saying that is like, in the past 6 years, I went from running a business to working in other businesses on like a low level. Like, I went from basically, I was never actually officially an owner, but married to the owner and running every aspect of the operations and having it like be my life for many years, to only running a weed whacker on a cutting crew for another company, because that's what I wanted to do. I
Yeah,
didn't want to do management. I didn't want to have responsibility. I didn't want to do payroll. I didn't want to pay bills. I didn't want to run software. I didn't want to do contracts. I didn't want to deal with customers. I just wanted to weed whack.
yeah,
And it was great. I
I
love
get it.
it. um, So if you're out there and you're feeling like, oh, I kind of like went backwards, oh, I'm not doing like what I used to do, or I know I'm capable of more, maybe it's because you just need a fucking break. Maybe you've been doing stuff so much that like you just actually need a break. And like the opportunity, my sister has changed jobs, but she's going back to a position that she left previously, and I'm a little bummed about it because it was a really high pressure job for her. She's a CPA. It's in the city in Philadelphia, and she would have to travel into the city, and she would get sick a lot, like throwing up. And I'm like, that's your soul screaming. Like,
Yeah,
that's your soul screaming. Like, I don't like this. This is too stressful. Like, stop doing this to me. I don't want to be here. Like, all the things. Please listen to it. And so she did for a while and took a job more locally at a slower pace, very manageable work. But now she feels like she's surrounded by idiots. Like, she feels like I'm not doing enough. Like, this is like, I'm bored. And I'm like, well, don't mistake peace for boredom, first of all.
yeah,
But it takes some time getting used to that when you've been running, 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 and then you choose to slow down. You have to keep reminding yourself that it's okay that you're not running. Like, it's okay.
yeah.
Um,
That's such good advice, and that applies to so many different. It's like the same thing for someone who's been continuously in abusive relationships and then enters a healthy one and thinks they're not happy. It's like,
mhm,
no, you're not
mhm.
bored. This is safe, and your nervous system doesn't know what that's like and is confused. And
Yeah.
yeah, you got to give it time. And I think that also is along, like, goes with the programmed beliefs that we have to be busy in order to be worthy and successful. We have to
Mhm.
be, it's like you have to be busy, you have to do something you don't want to do to be successful and have money. It's like all these lies that have been programmed into us that is very hard to unprogram,
Are you
especially if you're not
a
trying.
projector? Are you a
Yeah.
projector? Yeah. So am I. And so what you were just saying really reminds, it's totally against the projector design to be
Yeah.
running, going, doing, building, reaching. That's not what we're supposed to do. And growing up, I grew up in a household of generators and a manifesting generator. And my example was a generator. I'm not built that way. I
Mm-mm.
operated like a generator my entire life. That's why I burned out at 33. Like that's why I was like, what the fuck? Well, I don't work that way. Not everyone works the same way. So sometimes we have these examples or expectations, but it's like literally not even what we're supposed to be doing. But
Yeah.
uh,
And
we
that's why it's a
try.
gift to know your design too.
Yeah, totally. That was I wish I did know. I don't even know how old do you think human design is? Like how old do you think that practice knowledge
I've read
hold?
like 4 books on it. I should super know.
I feel
I
like
don't.
it's not that old.
No, it's not. Um, no, I don't remember.
Like I was born in 89. I don't know if it existed then or not. It didn't
I
come into
feel like
my
I have no idea. I can't even guess.
It's okay. It didn't come into my field of awareness until like 4 years ago. And then when I found out about it, I did reports for my kids and my ex, and I'm like, wow, this is so helpful to know. Um, yeah, basically had to like relearn how to function in
Yeah,
everyday life in my household, with all of my family members. Yeah,
yeah. It's so cool. It's so cool to I did the same thing and to be able to now like honor relationships based on someone's design and seeing them and ugh,
yes,
it's so helpful.
yes, yes. I try to explain to my mom, like, she'll ask me if I want to come to dinner. She'll be like, call me up. Do you want to come to dinner? And she expects me to answer, I mean, in like 1 second, yes or no. Like, yes, for this date 3 days from now at this certain time, yes or no. I don't work that way. If I say yes right now, I can't guarantee how I'm going to feel 3 days from now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be forced to say yes immediately. Like, I need a minute to go through my emotions. Like, I guess I'm an emotional projector, whatever the certain thing is, aspect is. I really need time to
Yeah.
decide if I want to do something or not. So it's been fun trying to explain that to her. Like, I'm not being flaky. I just like, I'm trying to honor how I work. And it is not always saying yes right away to stuff, you know? Uh
And how great that we get to like carve out that new path and let because the more you do that, the more she'll be able to in her own life be like, wait, am I just saying yes just to say yes, or do I should I think about this and how do I actually feel? It's like
yeah.
giving people permission to then take care of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Being that example, and I'm proud to do that for my kids because that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with how I grew up. It's just the way it is. Uh, you can only do what you can with what you know at the time, and that's
Yeah.
what it is. So,
And again, just our personal karma and the lessons we came here to live involved coming here when we did.
yeah.
And yeah, it's beautiful to just know and trust that, oh, this all has a greater purpose.
Hmm. Hmm. It's it's fun to think about, and I find it fascinating that many people do not think along these lines about their spirit, their soul, their life. I don't want to say purpose, but it's sort of like your dharma, what your plan is, what you're here for. And they think there's no God, and they think when you die it's nothing, and it's funny. Isn't it interesting to try to get into that like mindset and be like, I wonder what it would be like to live. Not very fun.
I think it'd be terrifying.
Yeah, that would be scary, not fun at all for
Mhm.
me. Yeah. But some people feel safer that way. How interesting.
Yeah, how interesting. And yeah, and the beautiful thing is, we know that when they die, they're going to the same place as us. That's the thing that gets me about religion. It's like
Yeah.
how many people have in the last week told me and my kids are gonna be in eternal hell. It's like that's such a sad thing for you to believe, but okay.
I'm so sorry that you're receiving messages like that.
Oh,
That's
I find it absolutely fascinating. It's I'm like totally good and I just keep protecting my energy and my kids' energy, like doing energy work to make sure that none of that's getting through to us.
yeah,
But again, yeah, it just reminded me like for to be in a place where you know God and you know even the people who you can see are living in density 100% of the time, like when they die, they're going to the same place as us and they get to try again, and how wonderful and beautiful and truly unconditional is God's love.
yes, yes. And it's like, what an argument. I would have an argument like the disconnection, the level of disconnection and disrespect, people online making comments like that, that means this is hell. That means we're in
Correct.
hell. Like,
Seriously.
uh, I think, I love it here. And if this is hell, it's pretty comfy, and I know that it has a lot of potential. So I know
Yeah,
that it's only up from here. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And I thank God every day that I have that perception and
Yeah.
that I came into this body with this ego that gives me the ability to use the tools I need to remind myself of that exact thing. Like it only goes up from here, and I have the ability to make my reality feel whatever way I want it to feel.
Yeah. Yeah. You really have complete control. You have really complete control of your power and energy when you have control of how you feel and how control of your thoughts. And I don't mean that in a way like get control of your thoughts and feelings because
Yeah.
it's good. It's okay to let them run a little bit. They have to. They have their own program and we just witness it and allow it. Um, but I think it's such a beautiful gift to hold that peace and confidence in yourself. And I'm proud of you.
You. And yeah, that's not to say that's like when I've been actually moving through a lot of fear the last week, and I feel that fear. I let myself go there and just be human in it. And
Hmm.
that's also part of what I'm saying. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, but
Hmm. Hmm.
it's beautiful and feels good to be able to know, okay, I can breathe through this sadness and just feel it. What a
Yeah.
gift to be able to
Yeah.
do that.
Yes. It's so strange as we progress through life and have like losses. I'll say I've had realizations of like when someone passes away. It's different now for me than it was before my awakening. I always believed that there's a connection. I always believed, people don't just disappear. Energy doesn't go away, ever since childhood. But it's even different now because I used to think they're still around, they're still with us, but I miss them because I can't see them, I can't talk to them. But that's just not true
Yeah.
anymore, especially. So I, I went through something. I lost someone close to me, and as I just found out the news that he passed away, it was a huge deal for me. I was upset, but then I would hear like messages, and it's like, just like, why are you crying? You're still connected. You're always going to be connected. You always have been. You always will be. You
Mhm.
don't like it's just for now. Like, shh, 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 stop. It's just for this life. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, that's insane because it's my whole life. And it's like, yeah, but it's this much of it. Like, stop. You already know. And I'm like, oh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're crying about it, but then you're like, actually, it's okay. But it
Yeah.
really, it's like moments of that. But
I've
I
heard,
think, yeah,
yeah, I was just gonna say, I've heard like the pain is a biological. Our flesh is feeling that pain and it's totally valid and
yeah,
it doesn't mean anything about what our soul knows. It's like our
Yeah.
biological tissue knows that their tissue is no longer here, and that's
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah. Yes. And the chemical components of your tears change biologically if they're joy or grief, sadness, pain, or just like an onion. You know what I mean? Like the tears, the chemical components of the tears are different.
That would be so cool to look at them under a
Oh
magnifying
yeah.
glass.
Oh yes. I love studying stuff like that. Like Veda Austin does work with water and she freezes the what does she call it? Crystallography or something along those lines. But takes water, freezes it after she influences it in some way. She'll put it on top of a picture, say a message, write a word, whatever, and then the water interprets the image in the frozen part of it. How absolutely amazing. Water communicates. Water is intelligent. Water retains memory. Water is God, right? That's how I think. I have one of those spinny water things, the swirl to aerate the water to like add restructure it.
Yeah.
And when I use it, I pour the water and I'm just like, thank you, God. Like I don't underestimate. I'm very appreciative of the simple things, even like water, like as we should be. We should
Yeah.
consider it's just such a, it's like everyday magic that like we are just like, oh, it's just water. And it's like, no, water is magical.
Yeah. I just right before we got on, I posted a reel of a podcast of the from the Jesus Way, and they're saying so before even before they say that they sacrificed the blood of Christ, they had started doing baptisms with water for its sin atonement. That was already long in place. And so that the real is they're talking about it wasn't necessary. They didn't need that. A baptism had already replaced blood sacrifice. And they're talking about the divine water of the mother. And I think it's beautiful. Like, we have the ability to shower every day. We have the ability to
Hmm.
bathe, most of us, or go to water in parts of the world where they don't have that luxury.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how beautiful that any moment we need our ego mind to feel like our sins are atoned for, we can touch water.
Hmm.
Like that's so symbolic of how sin has always been forgiven and
Hmm.
always will be forgiven. And every time you take in water, you're forgiven.
Hmm. Hmm. Especially if you hold that intention. I was always a big advocate of working with water. It's funny, again, I don't take my advice. I have great advice. Do I follow it? I couldn't possibly. It's too much. Uh, no, but especially when working with dreams, if you're doing a lot in the astral, if you're traveling, you're biolocated, et cetera, you're doing dream work, you want to recall your dreams, a great exercise is to fill up a glass of water before bed, drink some, ask it to be with you and to retain your dreams. And then in the morning, you drink the rest of it and say, with drinking this, you will help me. And now I will remember my dreams. So you can take a minute and write stuff down. It'll come to you. It comes
Amazing.
back. It literally holds it and then comes back to you. It's crazy. And anytime I've done it, it's worked. So just saying, just as if you haven't done it out there.
That's so cool. No, I've never heard that. I want to try that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And taking baths. Like I just got fluid. I'm not getting paid for this, but fluid magnesium soaks. I love them. They're not cheap, but they have additional things. It's not just the salt. It's like nootropics and different like essential oils and etc. I love just like getting salt baths, even just regular Dead Sea salt, not Epsom salt. I had a reading recently with someone and I was like, they're telling me that you don't cleanse your energy body enough. You need to take more baths with salt. And I was like, I feel like you take baths, but you're not using the right salt. She's like, yeah, I take baths. I use Epsom salt. I'm like, yeah, that's trash. Stop using that. It's not real. You need to get real salt because of the And she's like, okay. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like be rude, but like this is what they're telling me that like you're not doing it right. So I'm just telling you. You got to
Yeah.
get real salt. She's like, okay. And then she says, someone else told me that too, another practitioner. And I'm like, and you didn't listen to them either.
Maybe this time.
Oh well. That's another thing out there. If you're using Epsom salt, it's mostly not real man-made chemicals, and so it's not helping you. So stop doing that.
Mhm.
What else? What other good tips do we have?
I like the ancient minerals. Um,
Yes.
I like the bag they come in is really pretty. And
Yeah.
I like
I
that it,
get like the big
yeah.
plastic tubs of it too.
And they're not like overly expensive at all.
No, no. I feel like you get like it's like a giant thing, like cheese puffs
Yeah.
size container, right? But
Yeah.
it's like $30, I feel like. So
Yeah.
that's not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, I use that same brand also.
So my husband puts like half a bag in when he takes a bath. I'm like,
Yeah,
all
as you
right.
should. As you should. You actually need a lot. You actually
Yeah,
need
he's a big
quite a bit. Yeah, yeah. To actually get the benefits of the magnesium for your body to absorb, you do need to use quite a bit. I see people like put a couple sprinkles in. I'm like, that's cute.
yeah, I
You
know.
need like
A
the
little
whole
more.
thing.
I
Yeah.
think that the bag actually says on it. I'm pretty sure it says pour the whole bag in.
I think so. I would believe so. Yeah, and it's funny. Have you seen Stranger Things?
I've seen season one and
Like,
then years
yeah,
ago.
like I'm sure she did it in season one, but like the tanks, like how she gets in the water and she
Oh.
needs salt water and she puts a blindfold on and then that's when she can go to the astral. That shit is real.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is real. That's how you do
I've
it.
heard that that show is like spot on. I think
Yeah.
it's so funny. You just reminded me when I'm watching science fiction, like most of them, I'm like, they're literally showing us everything. Nobody's seen
Yeah.
this. But then my husband and I were just talking about this, but they're making it theatrical so nobody believes it could possibly be true. They're turning it into this fake
That's
entertainment.
that's part of the
Like it's all right there, all of it. Even when I watch Marvel movies with my kids,
yes.
I'm like, this is real.
Yeah, I saw I forget who made it, but it was a something on Instagram, a reel, and it's like I'm the Illuminati. And he like says a bunch of stuff and it's like I'm the Illuminati. Of course I make movies disclosing everything that we actually do. So when something comes up and you'll say the magic phrase, that's from a movie, right? But
Yeah.
it's not, it's real. And yeah, no. That's how they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. It's funny because even in a lot of the Marvel movies, they'll like reference time machine movies or they'll reference movies that have been made and that they're actually real. Like they need that information for in the Marvel movie. Like they're show even as
Yeah.
like nuance as that they're
That
showing.
is crazy. That is
Yeah.
crazy. Yes. I haven't seen all the Marvel movies. I haven't seen like Doctor Who. That's probably like the one that I should see.
Which one?
Doctor Who? Isn't that who travels? Like that's like the spiritual one. Doctor Who, right?
I don't Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange.
Is that who you're thinking of?
Who's Doctor Who? That's someone
I
not
don't know.
from
I should look it
Marvel.
up. Me and my kids last year my husband went out of town for a week and we watched it. We looked up like the right order to watch them in and we
Hmm.
watched them all. I've never heard of that one, so I don't know.
Probably doesn't exist.
We didn't watch the rated R one, so I did skip some of them. So maybe um
Doctor Strange, if that's a name, that's the
he
one.
travels through time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
in
one.
different. He's like the timekeeper. He keeps time safe in this realm. And yeah,
Yes.
it's so good. I love them.
Yes.
I had no idea. I think that was one of my gifts of being a boy mom. I would have never watched Marvel movies if I didn't have little boys, and I love them.
Yes. Yes. It's so funny. I love all the kids movies. They have like the most disclosure. Like one of my favorites, recent favorites, because we have kids. K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't know if
Mhm.
your boys got into that, but
Oh
it was
yeah.
huge. And when it first came out, I was like, oh, I feel so aligned with this that they, first of all, that's real. And it's done in the opposite. Like the Demon Boy Band, they really do. And it's been forever. These artists making music with sigils and different sounds and codes
Yeah.
embedded in the music that is demonic. And then there's also the opposite that is good.
Yeah.
I know. But it's it's interesting because like you said and like we were talking about it's they show you right there in the movies how things work and it's just like, oh, that's just like a movie. That's just like an idea. That's just but no.
Yeah.
That it's something to reference in reality. It's very, very interesting.
Yes,
But
it
I
is.
love that movie and the message and the that it got so popular because then
Hmm.
kids are like, oh, I can fight them with, you know, being my authentic self,
Yeah.
allowing people to see my faults and not hiding and not pretending because that is how demons work. They will get you on the things that you're hiding, the things that you aren't being accountable for and that you are ashamed of. They're going to feed on that, they're going to fester on that. That's how they get you. So when you are open and authentic and fully embodied in your heart, they can't touch you. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's so spot on for the I love it for the message. And then also when Rumi does show her true colors and speak with love, the demon dies for her. Like
Uh-huh.
when
Yeah.
you shine your light on the darkness, they can't survive anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But we also can't can't always trust demons to sacrifice themselves for us and what is just that is something that just happens in the movies. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of personal experience in that realm, but I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, you always have to extend that possibility to hope that they would come to the light
Hmm.
always for every being. Yeah. So I'm just gonna contradict what I just said, but yeah, you can, beautiful. I love it. And I do think that a lot of the lower dimensional beings that are interwoven into our 3D reality, whether you're aware of them or not, they do want to come to the light. They do wish that they could escape. And a lot of them are like, what was his name? The boy in the K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't,
Ooh, I don't know.
Genu.
Yeah.
Genu. Uh, they're tortured also. They're captive as well by higher level entities and they're made to do bidding that they don't want to do and that they so it's just I'm just throwing it out there. What if what if they're not all super evil? Just saying. What if they wish they could be saved too? I don't know.
Well, totally. I think that, yeah, I think that could be spot on. I mean, the meanest people in the world are also hurting the most. And
100%. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like I have not yet, and I probably never will. Maybe when I die, I'll figure it out, but haven't figured out the line of like when to draw back that potential energy that I would lend toward that aspect of wanting to bring darkness into light and allowing that um, concept to allow energy to flow in that way. I don't know if it's wise. I don't know at what point people can stand in that. Like I go back and forth.
hmm,
I've had times where I'm like, you know, sympathetic to a certain type of entity because I can understand, like, when you connect to it, other people's, like, say I'm doing readings and it's like, this is where the attachment comes from, and you're understanding their story and their dynamics, and I mean, you sympathize with them and you're like, well, I want to help. Like, some of them detach, some of them don't, it depends. Uh, but I think that it's better to be that way than to just blindly cut and blindly assign as evil to lower level things because they may not be there of their own choice necessarily.
Yeah. I just did a reading for a gal who has had a ghost in her home, beginning to mess with her. And when I looked closer, I was able to communicate with the spirit, and I learned that they had just put their house up for sale. And that really, really, really was not okay with the spirit. And that's why she had started causing more of a ruckus.
Mm,
And yeah, we had to spend time acknowledging her pain, and but at the same time firmly like, you're not welcome here. We can see you, we can validate you, and understand your attachment to this place, but it's time for you to go. And so I think I I feel like we're never actually giving any of our energy. It's not a giving of our energy, it's shining our energy, but they're
hmm.
not able to take it. Like,
Yes.
so I think knowing that boundary, it's like I can be witness to you and I could see you, but if I begin to feel like you're taking, then I'm
Hmm.
done here. Um,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of times the seeing is enough for a lot of the entities I've come across, and a lot of the spirits I've come across just want to be seen. Like that is
Yeah.
enough for them to feel free and to be
Yes.
able to handle, um like for, in her case, just crossing over from feeling like she was bound to the house.
Yes. The recognition was necessary to acknowledge their perspective. Yeah, absolutely. I I agree with that. My house was similarly kind of haunted. Now I understand. I don't. It was not kind of haunted. It was definitely haunted. It's funny how I use words to like minimize stuff sometimes,
Yeah.
but there were several portals there. They're still there. They're active. I'm out of there. I tried
You're not living
so
there, right?
no, no.
Okay.
I tried so hard to do energy work there and it just was it didn't want it. It was the beings that were there are connected with different people who own that and that's
I
yeah,
think, yeah, I think it's
no.
interesting because I know that you felt called to the land and to tend to it and to grow on it.
Yeah.
Um, I think
I
it's
tried.
interesting that it seemed that the land was putting up hard nose all over the place. Like
Yeah.
they didn't want your help.
Yeah. Yeah. It was I would say it's not necessarily the land as much as the house and the beings that use the portals in the
Mm.
house that
Yeah.
were conflicting. Yeah. The land will handle that. The
Hmm.
land didn't need my help. The land will handle it though. Yeah. The land's fine. It's the it's the home.
That
Uh
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they'll I've felt for a long time and I tried for a long time to counterbalance that energy and it was that's sort of like we were talking about the boundary of like when you feel it taking from you that's like no it was taking from me it was yeah I was like sacrificing myself for it but it wasn't being reciprocated so that's when it's like I gotta just stop I can't I have to pick my battles this is not one of them yeah
Yeah.
next time a different space is
Yes.
what I'll find after letting that go. Yeah. So it was so wonderful catching up with you, Jacqueline. I really love talking with you. I feel like we can just like talk about so many different things. We covered so many topics today. It's like we'll have to talk again sometime soon and like hone in on more things because this is like just been it has brought up several different subjects into like one space and I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for having me. It's so much fun to talk to you. I enjoy
Oh,
it every time.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to pause on the recording, but I won't hang up. All right. Thank you for being here in our experience. This one felt really real to me, and it was awesome to catch up with Jaqueline. Check her out on Instagram at Your Higher Self is Calling, and also online. I'll put links in the show notes. If any of this resonated with you, I would love to hear what landed. And if you're someone who's been questioning things or starting to trust yourself in a deeper way, just know that you're not alone in that. And just a heads up, the 40% off Akashic Records reading discount is still active, only for 2 more weeks. So if you've been considering having a reading with me, now is your chance. As always, everything shared here is based on our personal experience and perspective. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, enjoy this track by Stilo Free, Lights and Shadows.
Pressure made diamonds, lay back, smoking loud in the silence. It's all love, but no trust. Why you think I'm doing too much? Cause pressure made diamonds, lay back, smoking loud in the silence. I roll up and go up. Why you tripping, give me no love? Nowadays you don't gotta mind me. In the end I hope you really find peace. I had to set my mind free. I had to let my soul breathe. Moon sign Pisces, heart broke psyche. Angels all around me, but demons wanna fight me. Feel like I had to fight myself. No, I had to look inside myself. With a predisposition to addiction. Through the negatives, I'm still focused on the vision. It's sorta like that first scene you see in Pulp Fiction. I see the end, but it's really only the beginning. I had to find a way to be grateful for them locked doors that you made close. When doves cry, it's so painful, but the purple rain is so graceful. Cause pressure made diamonds, lay back, smoking loud in the silence. It's all love, but no trust. Why you think I'm doing too much? Cause pressure made diamonds, lay back, smoking loud in the silence. I roll up and go up. Why you tripping, give me no love? I'm fighting battles, lost between the lights and the shadows. Trying to shoot me down, I'm dodging all the ammo. Left me hanging, I escaped from the gallows. Swim through the ether, blowing on a reefer. Running like Rev when he rapped about Adidas. It's like my flow is heaven sent. My energy could shift the cards in your tarot deck. Life ain't always what it seems. An alternate reality, I'm living in a dream. I got the Stussy on the T with the 501 jeans. Ray-Ban Lokes with the Air Max 3s. Mandela effect, got me living my best. I gotta jump timelines when I'm living in stress. And a spliff in my chest, it got me lifting and blessed. Peace, you know the rest.